Hello, Cliff here, and I'm in my shed. Sometimes in my shed I make coin rings, and if you've never seen a coin ring, I'll give you a close up and show you what one is. So the intriguing thing about a coin ring, this one's been made from an half crown, is that you've got the coin on the outside and you've got the coin on the inside. So, how's it done? That's the intriguing bit. Well, it's not that hard really. Basically what you do is get a coin, punch an hole through the middle of it and sort of turn it inside out. So that's all you wanted to know about coin ring making. You know it now. You don't have to watch anymore, but if you're a bit more interested in the details and how it's done, I'll be showing you in the little series. I think there's going to end up being about 4 videos on this, so I want to keep them reasonably short. I'll show you how it's done and show you how I've made some of, I'll show you some of the tools that I've made to make coin rings. So this is how to make a coin ring part 2. Right, so we're on to the second part of making a coin ring now. Now the two really important things about making a coin ring is getting a pretty perfectly centered hole in the coin, and like I said at the end of the other bit, it's never going to be exactly the same measurement from the inside of the coin to the inside of the punched hole to the outside of the coin, because the coin's going to have been in circulation and the coin will not be perfectly round. And that doesn't really make much of a difference, but it makes a little bit of difference at this stage. Now these are the folding cones that I'll make. They're made for different coins which you probably wouldn't understand if you've never had anything to do with coin making. That one will take a Morgan dollar, that one will take a 2 bob, and this one takes a half crown and a shilling. And the reason they're made and they're specified for particular coins is because the coins do fit flush with the top of the cone. And the reason that's important, or the reason it's helpful, excuse me, is that you need to get this as flat as you possibly can when you start the pressing. I'm just going to be using a ball bearing, you may be using something else. If you're using Delrin balls or Delrin push rods or whatever, it's pretty important then to, at this stage, file off and clean up and soften the inside hole. I mean, as I'm running my finger around that, that's where the punch has gone through it, that's quite sharp. It's not quite so sharp from the side the punch has actually hit the coin, but it's still sharp enough to damage a Delrin ball. So if you are using anything other than a steel ball, you really want to file off, get a Dremel tool or some other tool or just a bit of sandpaper and rub it in on your finger, but smooth off this inside edge before you start putting your plastic, your Delrin or anything on it, because that will damage the Delrin stuff.
Hello.
Jack.
Going into your shed.
Sorry, I was interrupted. As I was saying, you want to soften off and round off as much as you can the inside of this without going mad, but you just want to take anything that's going to damage your plastic tools. So you get that flat on there, you put your ball on it, take it over to your press and you start pressing. Now this is where it becomes very much more apparent about the how out of circular the coin will be, because there will be some spots of it that will have more resistance than others, and in the initial pressing it's pretty critical. You want to finish up here with as perfect a cone as you can, and what will happen, unless I've got the only perfectly round coin for this demonstration, is that as you start the press, it will start to go down further. One side, somewhere on the coin, will start moving more quickly than another part. And you need to stop. And you need to recenter the coin, like re-flatten it. And you need to do that as many times as you need to do it until it will become round itself with the actual cone tool. But it's a very important part of this to make the next bits of your coin ring a lot easier, and the coin will end up a lot better at the end of it. So it's quite easy to do the first bit. You can get that flat on here because the tool allows you to do that. You can see it's flat. Put your ball on it and you take it over to your press. Right, I'll stop the camera a minute, move over to the press and try and show you what I've been waffling on about. Right, so here we are back at the press. The coin's across the top of the cone, as flat as you can possibly get it. The ball bearing is in the centre, is in the punched hole. I'm going to zoom in a bit and hopefully I'll be able to show you what happens. It's the only time I've ever not wanted a perfectly round coin. Okay, I'll bring the ram down. This is a bit difficult because I'm trying to watch the camera and the ram to try and see what you can see. Alright, so the ram's just about to hit the top of the coin, the ball bearing rather. Now you really don't want to put an awful lot of pressure on this. I'm just going to move the camera again to see if I can get a better angle on this. Alright, so that's a bit better of an angle I think. So basically that's just taken the pressure up now on the ball, and I'm going to start putting a little bit of pressure on it, and a small amount at a time. Right, and the coin's starting to bend. I hope that's showing up. And typically this is going quite well. Ordinarily by this time it would have already started going maybe a little bit skew with, but right, it's just starting to go a little bit further down this side than over here. You probably can't see that on the camera, but I can see it because I'm behind it. So just take the pressure off of it, bring it out, and re-flatten it. Try and get it as close to the same sort of distance down the cone as you can. And to be honest with you, this coin's gone a lot better than a lot do, which is typical as I'm doing a film of it. Makes it look easy. It's not. And this, I can't really stress how important this part is. Anyway, we'll carry on. Again, gentle pressure. It's just starting to go down a bit further there and a little bit up at the back, so I'll move it again. I'm going to have to take it out to do it. Okay, and we'll go again. You may think I'm fussing about here, but it really is that important. Alright, we're not far short of this ball being right through it now, but it's just moved a little bit again. I'll just straighten that up a little bit. Too much. No, I'm going to have to move it out. Can't do it and do that. Okay, that's about as close as I'm going to get it. And that's it. That's as far as I can go with that ball, because the ball has come right through it. Right, I'm going to move the camera again and show you the coin. Okay, so we're back. That actually went quite well, and not all your coins will go that well. You'll find that you'll get some that really do stick and mess you about, but this one is now quite a nice cone, and I happen to know that the ball, once this ball's gone through, that will now fit over my ring stretcher. Right now out of the way. So now I'm ready for the next bit. Obviously, if you're punching the smaller hole, the 10mm hole, this will go a lot further, and it will probably bottom out before the actual ball pops through it. But for this demonstration, this is where we're going. Okay, I'm going to put the folding cone away. I mean, you can carry on, you can get a bigger ball and push this down even further into the cone and make it, perhaps I should do that. I'll tell you what, I'll do that. I'll get a bigger ball and push this down further, and it'll show you probably better with a cone. Okay, I'm back at the press. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but there's still plenty of room for this to stretch out a bit more. I know that this will go on my ring press, and ordinarily if I was making this ring I would be straight onto the ring stretcher now and just stretch that out. But if you're going to do this with one of the smaller, if you're going to be stretching that out by another method, you want to actually get it as far down this cone as you can. So the 17mm ball's gone through there. I'm now going to use the biggest ball I've got, which is a 25, and push this through a little bit more. Exactly the same principle whenever you're on the cone. Make sure it's nice and level in the cone. Pop the ball in. Squash it down and keep an eye on it. Trying to make sure that you're getting a nice even squeeze. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to straighten it, it's definitely worth the extra little bit of time here to get a decent even cone. Right, and that's as far as I can go with a 25mm ball. So there he is in there. So now I'm going to go back to the bench and show you the rest. Okay, here we are back at the bench. That's the 25mm ball pushed right in between us. It's gone as far as that's going to go down that cone. Get him out, and there's your half crown. Obviously this hole's going to have stretched out a bit more, it's gone a bit further down, but hopefully that's going to show up on the camera. That's quite an even cone. Now, If you put it on a flat surface, you should get hardly any wobble from the milled edge of the coin, or for that matter from that side. Right, so now we are ready for the ring stretcher. Again, I'm going to anneal it. You can't anneal it too much, especially when you get it on the ring stretcher. So I'll anneal that, set the ring stretcher up, and we'll see the next bit.